for you. Okay, let's work on the budget. Now, what am I trying to say here? We can work with dummies, right? We can
Work with dummies,
We can
okay.
work with dummy cakes. So, at the end of the day, who's going to get all those cakes? Actually, when you want something really good, something that will fit your budget, because when you prioritize your wedding, when you prioritize your budget, you might want a big hall like this, okay? But you don't want to spend too much on cake, but you want something really outstanding. You guys gonna walk up to us, and then we'll discuss and agree on making some maybe like 50% dummies and 50% real cakes, and nobody will know. And you're going to have a lovely, fantastic wedding cake. So I always advise couple or brides to be when working on a budget. Yes, even if you don't want it, as long as you want it really elaborate.
And you don't have the elaborate budget.
Yeah, you can do 50-50, you can do 60-40 cake dummies, and then you have your beautiful cake.
Okay, alright. So we can fake it with the cake, but can we fake it with Fifi's food house? Can you please talk to us about working on a budget wedding?
Okay, hello everyone. Food is very important. For me, food is the thing. People may not remember a lot of things about the wedding, but they say, that wedding I go and no chop. They will never forget that part. So I would advise people right now that it's time for everybody, no matter what you're earning. Spending is crazy. So I said to them, how many guests do you have? How many guests are you intending to have? Gone are the days when you just leave your event open such that any bystander can walk in. I always advise clients at this point, okay, let your event be gated somewhat. People should have cards. So you're sure that if you're doing food for 200, you're doing food for 100 people, the 100 people are well fed. So I always advise people right now, have a number. Don't say your mother's church people or anybody. Your event should be restricted. Now is the time for strictly by invitation. So it's not, you're not giving things for vibes or inshallah. You have 300 guests, you have 300 guests. I also advise people now, instead of having 4 courses, 20 courses, you can just have one solid meal.
One cousin or
One course.
Okay.
Now it's not time for 4 cousins, they can meet later. But one solid course and people will be happy. So that will help save costs.
Okay.
And okay, your menu options may not, it don't have to be unnecessarily expensive now. You can have 3 or 4 good meals and it'll be fine and save cost.
Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna tweak the question before I get to you, Zatini, right? Still talking about, what's on the tight budget. And Fifi said, people may not remember many things about the wedding, but if they did it will never leave their memories. In your opinion, as someone who makes beautiful wedding dresses, what do you think that brides should prioritize? What should come first when planning a wedding, especially the reception, on a tight budget? Should they invest on the wow wedding dress, or do you think that see this food matter that Fifi has talked about, we should not relegate it? What do you think?
Okay, hello everybody. For the dress versus the food is pleasing your guests. However, the dress is pleasing yourself. So I tell my brides that you're going to have your wedding picture stare at you forever. Literally, you're going to keep looking at that wedding dress.
And enlarged.
Yes, it's going to be enlarged. It's going to be it's going to be, it's a day that you need to remember as a very beautiful day. So the dress is very important. However, the food is pleasing the guests. So they're still going to go on with their lives and they're still going to move on, to other things. But you are faced with the reality of your dress if the dress goes wrong, or you're faced with the beauty if the dress goes right. So the dress is very important.
Okay. I feel like this is one question that there is no wrong or right answer to, because while on the one hand we're looking at you pleasing your guests by giving them food, and at the end of the day you're still the one who will thank them for coming. Nowhere do we see, wedding guests appreciating the couple for taking care of them. Instead, the vote of thanks is delivered by the couple thanking them for even bothering to attend. But on the other hand, ladies, the wedding dress should never wear it beyond that wedding day. Do you advise that someone invest so much money on a wedding dress just because the pictures have to look good 15, 20 years later. So, but there is no right or wrong answer. People doing things, but in bright, fine, sharp, right?
So there,
No. I mean, there's no wrong, there's no right answer. It's a matter of preference. So let's move on to our next question. Ladies, please get your questions ready. We will be taking most of the questions from you, but here's this one, right? What, in your opinion, would you say are the very common wedding stressors? Those things that can just make, that can make everybody stressed up, whether it's the bride or the groom, whether it's the bride's family, some of those things can just put them on the edge unnecessarily. What would you say? Let me start from you, Dribbles.
I would say it's time. Number one is time.
Time
management. I will not forget. I remember very well. I cried to church on my wedding day with my dad in the car. So it was funny because he is a time-conscious person. But on that very day, I don't know what came up, how we delayed. The church had to wait for us, and it wasn't happy. So time is in essence. So I always advise, if you have planners, then we didn't have planners, so we just did the thing ourselves. We go to the hall and fix and make sure the halls, the chairs are well arranged and everything, and everybody's rushing back for normal makeup. No event planners at that time, right? So time is something that we should put into consideration so everything moves well. Yeah, time is very, very important. And again, family. I remember when I was doing dessert catering.
Yeah.
As you're setting up, everybody's setting up our cake. You see one uncle walking in and saying, no, it should be that side. It cannot be here. Family is here. No, food should be in this place. I think family, we should, the planners or the couple should know how to tell families what to do. Okay, let the caterers handle their job themselves. Let the drink vendors handle themselves. Don't go fighting and making noise and causing chaos.
Okay, Fifi, you want to answer that, or she's spoken
Yeah,
mind?
she has spoken my mind. Usually for us, there's usually one son of war from one family that is there. They always just pop up, and when they pop up, I'll just know this person has come. You know them, and that thing that can cause stress is hunger.
Right.
It's hunger. I always try to tell my clients, even sometimes I offer them free food. People don't realize what hunger can do to them. Hunger can make them cranky. So I tell
Speaking about the couple now.
the couple and people involved, like
Yes.
the bridal team, try and eat. That morning, everybody's excited, I understand. People forget to eat and they get stressed out midway. It's your wedding, you're supposed to be happy. And all of a sudden your body is peppering you. And it's caused from hunger. So hunger is a stressor. People are overexcited, overstimulated, and they forget to eat or have a drink or something that will help calm their nerves. Time, like she said, is quite important. Time management is a good thing that a whole industry of event planners has come up. So that has helped a lot. It has helped. Event planners don't even know they're sent from God, but that has helped a lot with time management. So that's true. And then if people, in as much as people tell their families, we understand, there will always be that person. The families can just sit down and chill, but there's always one busybody person moving around like a fly. So those are the things that can cause stress for people at events. Really.
Do you want to add something to that, please?
Yes, I think who you have in your corner and who you have as your team, as a couple. Because sometimes you put somebody on your team or on your corner, bridesmaid, chief bridesmaid, groomsman, that does not know how to handle stress. You need someone who is very calm. So while choosing who is your bridesmaid, while choosing who is your groomsman, while choosing the people on the team, you need to figure out who are the most calm people, who can actually bring calm to you when you are stressed out. Because you can be stressed out and you have somebody who is telling you everything is fine, even if the whole thing is turning upside down, but that person is telling you everything is fine, don't worry, the person is not bringing stress to you. Because sometimes one bridesmaid or one groomsman can just tell you, oh, something is touchy, and the whole thing, you're just stressed out. So you need to have like people who are very calm, people who you have over the years understood that this person is my, my peace. those are the kind of people to get, because those people, trust me, they can mess your day up if they don't know how to handle stress on their own personally. So I think that's very important.
And I think you're absolutely correct, because we don't often think about the people in our space, when we're dealing with stressful situations. Okay, ladies, can we take questions as soon as possible? Does anyone have a question they want to ask? Brides to be, any questions, or should we proceed? Okay, let's move on with the questions that we have here. When we talk about negotiating with vendors, and I'm glad that you all are here, none of you is an event planner, right? So, as a bride, how would you advise a person to go about negotiating with vendors? Say you're planning the event by yourself and you need all these very key players. How would you advise them to go about it? Fifi, let's start from you.
First of all, I would appreciate honesty from the person. And for every client that has come to me to say she's trying to arrange herself, I usually, not because I'm trying to give anybody a new business, I'll be like, don't you need it? Even if you don't want a plan, okay, you're planning an event, you're a brilliant person. Don't you need a coordinator? Because you will need a coordinator at some point. I always try to throw that in. Okay, let me give you this person's number. Just ask them if you could help coordinate your event. But I would appreciate honesty from right. Okay, this is my budget. This is what I have. So I'll now tell you, okay, this is what your budget can get you. I'm not running charity. You want to have a nice event, so we meet midway. So you will not come with a budget, a champagne budget. Meanwhile, your money can afford only Zobo. But now, if you tell me, okay, I have Zobo money, we can try and make it Zobo cocktail and try and improve on it. You get what I mean? So if the bride is honest, this is what we have. I believe there's always a way out to find balance and come up with a beautiful concept and event.
Okay, so over to you, Zatini, because this is the question that Dripples had touched earlier, with negotiating to do half dummy. But in your case, you're a dressmaker, you make wedding dresses. Speaking as a vendor, how would you advise a bride to approach you? Remember, we're emphasizing on a tight budget. What would be your advice?
Okay, for bridal wear, the budgets are, custom. If you're going to make a custom dress, and if you're going to have a rented or rental. So when you have a tight budget, you want to opt for a rental or a discounted or a cheaper option custom. So custom dress, they're going to be working with your body, they're going to be working with your budget. So if it's a full lace wedding dress, for instance, it's more expensive than a dress that has maybe minimalistic vibe and just a bit of embellishment. So if you're working on a tight budget, you can be looking towards that. That okay, I'm going to have a plain wedding dress with either little bit of bow here, little bit of embellishment here, or do I want a full-on glamorous wedding dress, but I just rent. So these are some of the options that you can discuss, and that is understanding what's your price point, how much you're willing to dole out for your wedding dress. So is it going to be a plain wedding dress? Is it going to be half lace, half plain? So most times you see half lace, half plain. Most times those kind of come under a little bit discount than a full wedding dress. Or a very clean look, but then a little bit of embellishment, or even no embellishment at all. Some minimalistic dresses are really very lovely. So you just need to understand how and where you want the design to go. And for custom dress, you can always discuss this before the dress is made. So you can always tell your designer, this is what I'm looking at, what can I have with this? So I think that.
And there is always the option of the rental.
There's always the option of rental. The rental, of course, they are expensive rental wedding dresses. So a wedding dress that you want to make, and for instance, is so much money, and for rental, it's still a luxury rental. So we have luxury rental dresses. So they're very expensive dresses, however, they're up for rent. There's also the budget-friendly wedding dresses that are up for rent. So you don't want to walk into a store and then pick the most expensive dress and want it on a cheaper budget. So just understand where your money lies, where your money point is, and then know exactly what. And you can always talk with the store owner. So we offer, because of the era we are in right now, we started offering rental wedding dresses. So we used to do just custom before, but because of this, we now offer, rental. So when you come into the store, you can tell the stylist, this is what I'm looking at. I want this other dress. So you can even look at the options and then know what your budget is, and then begin to look towards that direction.
Thank you so very much.
So recruitment and selection, determining who you're bringing on board your team. First, you need to be aware of the type of environment you're trying to build, because it's not everybody that fits into that environment. So when we talk about skills and talk about attributes, first, it has to be someone who embodies the heart of service. Somebody who embodies the heart of service. If you ask every business leader, one of the things they will tell you is somebody who will have their back, whether they are available or not. And that has a lot to do with someone with the heart of service. Someone who's willing to go all the way without you reminding the person what to do. Somebody who is not putting it to you that you're expecting too much of them. Somebody who is not pointing you to their JD. When I say JD, that's their job description. Who understands that, okay, everything that they will do within the period of time that they're going to work with you actually improves them first as a person, beyond the remuneration and every other benefit that could come with the work. Okay, for me, these are the key things to look out for. Then when it has to do with skills, it depends on the job opening you have. You could now start looking at somebody who is savvy when it comes to technological advancements and all of that. But for me, most importantly, having run business for the number of years I've done, is somebody who embodies the heart of service. That's the most important thing for me. Okay, then you can now go into other areas as to somebody who embodies excellence, integrity and all of that. But most importantly, the person needs to have a heart of service.
Okay, so I'm going to just ask this one-off question. So when you want to weigh the heart of service in terms of character against skill, knowledge, which is weightier for you to employ, and why?
A heart of service, the attributes is very important, because every other skill, whether it's in of technology, whether it's in the area of accounting, and every other special skill will be predicated. Okay, the what will hold it is the person's character. Do you get? It's the person's character that will hold every other thing that is necessary. There's no point having an excellent accountant who does not embody integrity. Okay, there's no point having. I tell you one thing. Last week, the guy that leads our QA/QC department, he reported to work. He had reported and said he was going to be at work. He was ill, and yeah, fine. I mean, every other person could step in for him. To my amazement, the young lady we had employed as a janitor, who after her cleaning service in the morning, he stays in that department to help them sort, actually started carrying out the guy's task in his absence so excellently that I had to question why she was not the one I employed. But then, it would be unfair seeing that, or maybe she hadn't attained some level of education and all of that. But I was shocked. Boma was executing the work, coming back to me to seek feedbacks, prompt me on certain things. Okay, tell me, okay, Taylor, this, that, oh, I've looked at this, I don't think it aligns properly. A janitor. Now imagine when you now invest into such a person, send the girl to school, now undergo professional quality control training. Imagine what will happen. So a lot of us here, we have our parents who worked as menial job men in some engineering firm those days. And then maybe they'll tell you how the white man found them credible and then empowered them with the knowledge. And today they've become directors in some of those companies. Maybe the white man left it for them. First was the character. So every other skill will be predicated on your values as a person. Okay? Your values, what you embody as a person. That's what will matter. So I just hope I answered the question.
Yeah, very, very, very well, sir. So since you mentioned this lady's case, in fact, there was a testimony of a lady. A lady gave a testimony, church testimony, of being promoted from a janitor to a position of a manager or something, or a supervisor.
Yes.
You know, it was just amazing, unbelievable. You know,
I have same in my firm.
Okay.
We employed her as a janitor. Today she supports the procurement team. She supports the stock team. Now, a leader in that position, all you think of is, how can I make this person become a better version of herself, because she's absolutely very resourceful to the organization.
Okay, so that takes me to the next question I think I'd like to ask you, which is, you know, in leadership, they say, if you don't train them, don't blame them. So now, what's your take with training, putting in resources to train your staff, knowing fully well that it's a 50-50 chance. They can just get trained today and the next day they have jackpot to another, maybe to your competitor's firm, all because the person is going to pay them 5 or 10,000 naira better than you do. And it can be very hurtful. It can be very, very hurtful. So how do you get to manage that scenario, sir?
I'm on this panel with a lot of other people, and people I really respect. So, but for sake of respect too, let me respond to you. And in the course of me responding, I'm going to also bring you into this, scenario. So if you're an employer, the moment you announce an opening, what you've done is you've initiated a risk management venture.
True.
Yes. The moment you announce an opening, you've initiated a risk management venture. One of my friends in HR will tell you that hiring itself is a risk. Okay, so that's that. So when you now bring the person into your firm, not training the person is also a risk. You get? So, by all means, train the person. But then, if you're able to understand the difference between training and mentorship, okay, it will do you a lot of good. Okay, it's okay for businesses to create huge budgets, send somebody on a training, brag about it, we send our staff on a training. It's not really all about that. You need to now bring in relationship into the whole engagement, because now that's where you now transition into the next level of mentorship. There are people who's worked for an organization where at some point it's inevitable, people will have to move. But the quality of relationship you shared with them will make them still provide support and value to your business even after they have left. Typical example, Alex Ime. Alex worked with Trebian, and the point came where he had to move. Till today, he always speaks very highly of you. You still provide services to them. You still provide support to them, because there was a part of the relationship. Do you understand? Accept it. People will come, people will go. But it's the relationship you build within the period of time that they are there that matters. We recently hired a young man who was handling front desk duties for us. Now, when he was joining us, he told me he was a trainee staff for SPDC. He had worked with one hotel and all. Very excellent young man. Olisa is his name. Olisa worked with us for just 1 month. And then SPDC had to request for him to come back. It was a sad experience for me, because Olisa, within the period of 1 month, had made so much impact in the business, you see. And he came to me and told me, I love the experience I got from here. However, I have to choose SPDC. But be rest assured, I will make sure that whatever knowledge I gain from SPDC, I will bring it back to Lucia. Do you get? Because there was a relationship. Okay, there was a relationship, and I go back to what I was saying. The moment you choose to hire somebody, you've commenced a risk management venture. You're going to stand the risk of them taking your trade secrets. You're going to stand the risk of their health because you're going to be responsible for their well-being. Everything is a risk already. So if you've already commenced, go all the way, train the person, but most importantly, back it with mentorship and relationship. So long after the person has left, you're still benefiting from it. I think the person even leaving does you a lot of good, because they are going to now bring their wealth of experience from other places of work, merge it with yours, okay, and enable your business to stand out. Today, people even employ people remotely, okay? The main important thing is not the individual, it's the value that is being brought. So if the person from another business is still giving you value, I mean, why not?
I agree so much. In fact, I want to even take this back home to some of us parents. You may want to give your kids the best of education and all of that. You're working hard, but while you're doing that, while you're at that, I think we should also build relationships with our kids, so that, because they're going to leave home one day, and when they leave home in search of a greener pasture or trying to be independent, they have a reason to come back. Not because you really gave them very, very good education, but because of the relationship that was there from start. So I think I agree with building relationships while you are also being intentional in training your staff. Thank you. Let's appreciate Ochi Uche. Let's appreciate him. Please, is that all you can do for me? Thank you very much, sir. So my next question will go to our next panelist, Mr. Latte. Thank you very much, sir. So, let me just start with what I know you for, which involves a lot of detailing in terms of packaging, making sure your product comes out nice and everything, not just the packaging, but the taste of what you do as well. There's a lot of shouting that goes into all of that. You agree? There's a lot of back and forth, and so I want to say, in our world today, people settle for less, mediocrity and all of that. They don't want to pay the price for excellence. And we now find ourselves in a situation where we have a generation that if you say so much, you're tampering with their mental health. And you don't want to tamper with someone's mental health, but you also expect excellence, top-notch delivery from your staff, from your team. So how do you get to balance that? Ensuring that this is our goal, this is what we must deliver, and also ensuring that they are doing that with a good mental health position, if I may use that word, sir.
Thank you. Pretty much what we try to do is we build our business or our management style around processes and systems, and I believe strongly that that's the first step, because if the processes are in place in our kind of business, which is running a restaurant, there are too many moving parts and too many departments, and the expectations of the guest or the customers many times is just really high, and it's every other day. And what I mean every other day, we're open by 6 a.m. every day and we close by 10 p.m. 7 days a week. So for us in our own kind of business, what we do is we try to build processes and systems. The challenge is usually integrating individuals into that, because that's where the learning comes in, and that's where closing any kind of knowledge gap comes in. What do I mean? Say you are hired for a particular role, being maybe a kitchen assistant or a sous chef or a chef. We already have things like recipe cards and all these different processes in place, and it helps a lot, because with the processes, it's easier to get people to do what you want them to do. it's easier to train them on their different roles and along those lines. So for us, we try to strengthen our processes. Every now and then we have like a process review. How do we make this better? What happens here? What happens that? Who are the people responsible for this? How do we get them? Because you can't speak to so many people at the same time doing different things. So for us, and aside being a big team, we have lots of sub-teams. So the other thing or challenge is trying to get different team leads to understand thoroughly what they are supposed to do and how they are supposed to do it, and most importantly, when they are supposed to do it. So getting the team leads into the mind frame so that we can get the people to do what they're actually supposed to do is just really key. And then talking about the present environment that we're in, we're very aware of it. So what we try to do is we try to balance very delicately that work-life balance, you know. We only let people work 3 hours, 45 minutes at every point, take a break, and then finish up quickly. And then after that, you're off, you know, 8 hours. After 4 days, you can take a rest. Just like that. Just, we try our best. And the point I'm trying to make is, so generally, it's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to building a strong team. Like Uche said earlier, you have to find the right fit first of all. That comes from recruiting. Every business requires a different kind of attributes. So you need to first of all understand this kind of business I'm building. Is it service-driven? If it's service-driven, then you're looking for people that have service at heart. And many of these things you can identify during your recruitment process. Now, if it's something that has to do with a lot of product, then at that point you have to look at skills and knowledge first of all. So it just depends. It's not really a one-size-fits-all. And again, it depends on your vision. Do you want to scale quickly or are you winging it? If you want to scale quickly, then you have to start to build strategies on, okay, we're expanding here. Because we're expanding here or we're expanding there, that means I have to invest a lot in training and development because the culture has to be the same all around. So it majorly depends on what you're trying to do as a business owner, what your goals and objectives are, and what the overall direction of what you're trying to do is. So those are like the key points.
Okay, so possibly, has there been any time when you experienced a breakdown in, because I heard you say so much about your system and structures, you know, maybe still in the process of trying to build this same system and structure, has there been any breakdown? And if yes, so how did you handle the breakdown to ensure that your goal is still being pursued or you're hitting the bullseye?
Breakdowns are constant. Don't let anybody fool you. It would always happen. And the key is